I have to say, I am relieved it is finally finished.
Rebecca
The curtain has
Allen,
fallen, and I am
too strong
ecstatic.
on a three.
I am talking about that artificial feud,
And
make no
look
mistake.
out, Kate.
It was a completely manufactured beef. That was just Angel Reese hitching her wagon to Caitlin Clark every single step of the way. Honestly, look at this offseason. It is the first time Reese has not been desperately clinging to Clark's coattails for relevance. She is finally walking her own path, and that is fantastic. Truly, it is a beautiful thing. We need to dissect this because Reese has been erased from the WNBA's marquee matchups. They have officially shoved her to the sidelines, and that phantom rivalry is dead. Welcome back to the channel. Do not forget to smash that like button, drop a comment, subscribe, share this everywhere, ring the bell, and hype up the video. Let's kick this off with a shout out to my guy Angry Fan Sports. You need to head over there right now and join the Angry Fan Sports family. Listen, you know we are ramping the energy back up with consistent streams, Monday Night Madness, emergency broadcasts, Morning Madness. We are turning the volume all the way up. Seriously, go subscribe to my brother Angry Fan Sports. He was the pioneer who got on the mic and said, "Look, Angel needs to elevate her skill set." Back when everyone was criticizing her for blowing layup after layup, missing shots left and right. It honestly looked like she was trying to heave a heavy football at the rim rather than shoot a basketball. He was the one brave enough to say on camera, "Brother, she has to step it up because Paige Bueckers is incoming." As soon as Paige arrives, they will toss Angel to the curb because the league wants to market Paige versus Caitlin. Hannah Hidalgo is on the way. Juju Watkins is healing up and coming for the throne. Olivia Miles is bringing real talent. We have actual hoopers entering the chat. Sonia Citron is arriving. These are genuine ballers, Angel, and Angry Fan Sports was the first to tell you to subscribe and listen. He kept telling me, "Yo, if she does not level up, she is going to be forgotten in the background. She will be left in the dust." And now, look around, it has officially come to pass. What has been the constant theme? The Indiana Fever are the main event on the calendar. Caitlin Clark is the biggest show on earth. She drives the viewership, sells the tickets, and commands all the attention. Every single set of eyeballs will be glued to Caitlin Clark, particularly on opening night. The world is waiting to see her return from injury and launch what is sure to be an MVP-caliber season. And suddenly, you notice Angel Reese is nowhere to be found against Caitlin Clark for the season opener. Kathy Engelbert and the owners, they understand the reality. They see the landscape clearly. Last year, Indiana faced Chicago 5 times on national television, with or without Clark, and frankly, those games were never competitive. Reese simply could not pull her own weight, particularly in the early months of the season. She did not start playing for real until she panicked about missing the All-Star cut. That is the honest truth, stone-cold facts. The WNBA has officially swapped Paige Bueckers into Angel Reese's position. Reese has dropped down the pecking order. Listen, do not shoot the messenger. The evidence is right there in the pudding, staring you in the face. Do not get angry with me. Look at opening night. Connecticut, New York, Washington, Toronto, Golden State, Seattle, right? Toronto gets their debut. Boom. Then you have the primetime slot, 1 p.m. on a Saturday. The heavyweight champion time slot, the legendary Caitlin Clark hour. On Saturday, it is Paige Bueckers traveling to Indiana to face off against Caitlin Clark. That is undoubtedly the marquee matchup of the opening weekend. Obviously, it is Caitlin Clark. But what is Angel Reese doing? Reese is being shipped off to Portland to play against the Portland Fire in their franchise debut. They banished you all the way to the Pacific Northwest. We do not even know who is on that Portland roster yet. They will be fielding expansion draft players. Let me tell you, reality hits hard when you realize you have been downgraded. That is the situation. You have been demoted. You no longer get to dance in the spotlight Caitlin Clark created. Now you have to go out there, improve your game, and build something of your own from scratch. You are on your own now. Paige Bueckers has usurped your role as Caitlin Clark's primary rival. That is simply the reality. And honestly, Paige cannot even touch Caitlin. I am keeping it 100, and I have love for Paige. In my book, Paige is the top shooting guard in the league, but Caitlin Clark is the supreme point guard. Clark is the best player in the league, period. You are about to witness an MVP run for the ages. Angel Reese, that manufactured beef you milked for so long is done. I am glad you capitalized on it while you could. Congrats on the cinema gigs, the modeling contracts, all of it. I will never hate on the hustle. Make your money off the floor, girl. Secure that bag. Look, I am not here to tear you down personally. However, regarding the narrative of you and Caitlin Clark being adversaries on the court, the consensus is that you simply do not measure up. I am talking strictly about your skills on the hardwood. This is not about your character or who you are as a person. It is entirely about your performance. Your production is insufficient to warrant that rivalry label. We are seeing legitimate talents like Paige emerging, and the world would much rather see her go head-to-head with Caitlin Clark. That is simply the harsh reality of the situation. I have an obligation to speak the unvarnished truth here. Honestly, I welcome this shift. The reality matches what has been said before. A new wave is arriving. Juju is on her way. Hannah is on her way. Tania Latson is approaching. Olivia Miles is entering the fray. You have an entire generation of young phenoms rising up. Milasia Fulwiley is about to make her presence felt. Flau J is stepping up next. You are destined to continue slipping further down the hierarchy. Mark my words, you need to elevate your skill set immediately. Let us shift gears and examine the commentary from the ladies over at ESPN regarding the newly released dates. Wow! Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever have been handed a grueling gauntlet yet again. Imagine playing 10 games within a span of just 21 days. It is absolutely insane. It feels like we are watching history repeat itself. Turning to you now, Alexa. Since the calendar is set, the obvious follow-up involves the labor talks. Do the athletes have faith that negotiations are sufficient to ensure tip-off happens on these specific dates? Yes, indeed, Malika. From the information I have gathered, there has been minimal forward momentum since the previous deadline, when both parties let the collective bargaining agreement lapse. However, the overwhelming sentiment I am getting from the players is one of optimism. They believe an agreement will be struck and the season will proceed, even though nothing is finalized just yet. The primary point of contention remains the revenue-sharing model, specifically determining what the appropriate percentage split should be. I recall we have previously discussed on this program the distinctions between gross figures and net revenue, which remains a topic of debate. Currently, however, it appears we have hit a stalemate regarding the trajectory of these discussions. As far as I am aware, the league office has yet to issue a formal counter to the Players Association's latest submission. That offer was tabled anywhere from a few weeks to nearly a full month ago. Understood. From the league's perspective, they believe that document was not substantially different from the previous PA offer, and thus, they felt it did not necessitate a reply. Nevertheless, based on my dialogues with the athletes and the general vibe circulating through the league, the feeling is that once that deadline elapsed, coupled with the usual timing for the free agency moratorium, which would typically ignite negotiations under the previous calendar, things have stalled. Consequently, there is a palpable but slight feeling of anxiety and restlessness to finalize the contract so the season can move forward without a hitch. It remains unclear if we are on the brink of a solution or still weeks away, right? So, you are describing an atmosphere of growing impatience. However, Alexa, I have to ask, if we are relying solely on optimism and hope that a resolution is imminent, what is the logic behind releasing the schedule now? Is it simply an adherence to tradition to keep the administrative timeline on track? Well, when you consider the historical context, the league customarily unveils the slate of games in very early December. In fact, over the past few years, we have even seen it drop as early as the end of November. Therefore, this release is actually delayed relative to that standard. Their intent is to signal to franchises, supporters, and corporate partners that they can begin logistical preparations for the upcoming campaign. Essentially, publishing the dates is the mechanism to facilitate that planning process. Their fervent hope is that they can adhere strictly to the calendar they have just presented to the public. Absolutely. Considering arenas are shared with concert tours and other events, logistics are key. That explanation tracks, Alexa. Okay, folks, here is the deal. The calendar has dropped, but I am certainly not purchasing any seats just yet. I have no clue what these women are actually planning. It appears there is absolutely zero progress being made. So, look, I am not spending a single dime until I see ink on paper. You all must have me confused with someone else if you think I will pay up front. Sound off in the comments section below. Do you think this manufactured rivalry is finally dead and buried? Hit me up in the replies. Stay focused on the vision. Do not forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel.